So it was 2020, catchment groups were really gaining momentum around the country, and as a community we just sort of decided there was a lot you could do as a collective as opposed to individually, and we all just sort of chip away on our own properties or on our own bush blocks, but just do it ourselves. So to come together and have it under one umbrella was quite interesting and empowering. Quite fortunately here in the Avon, we actually have the Tummit River, which leads into the Avon, which leads into the Waihopai. So there's already this sort of natural corridor that is fenced off, and it links the majority of the properties together. We're targeting our trapping at the head of the Tummit River, which is where Bernard's bush block is. And yeah, there is a lot of native biodiversity up there. There's a robin population, which you only really see in that denser bush, certainly not here lower down on the farm. So to coordinate that trapping and concentrate it in the upper reaches of the Tummit, it then gives that bird life and biodiversity a chance to come down that eco corridor, I suppose, of the Tummit and the Avon rivers. But I mean, I have high hopes. This bank, for example, these retirement plantings will be a significant seed source for the potentially the whole valley in the future, I suppose. With a whole lot of totara here, it's you know, over time it has the potential to spread and benefit the whole community. I think it's the little things sometimes. It's working together as a community, and we've never really done anything together as such. We're all fairly quiet, reserved people, and yeah, like to box on and do our own thing. So to actually come together as a community a couple of times a year is really rewarding. But it is those conversations as well. You know, previously it was general chit chat and, you know, lamb weights, or what are your trading options, what are your stocking options, or what's the climate doing, etc. But now sometimes some of those conversations are about, you know, how your traps are doing, or the fact you may have spotted a kingfisher in the wetland which you hadn't seen, or, you know, maybe the bellbirds and tuis are more present, or all of a sudden, you know, there was a lot of excitement when some dab chicks were found on the Throne Lake. In 2020, we actually developed a vineyard on the country above us here, and we also chose to fence off the creek at the bottom of this paddock. So all of a sudden, this bank, about 4 hectares, was very isolated. Just in terms of management, it was becoming difficult, and with the catchment group funding and the support, we decided, hey, why not make it a new native development? So the long-term vision here is a podocarp forest, certainly higher up here with totaras planted, and lower down mixed species heading down to the creek there, where we've got kowai and pittosporum, and what's really exciting is the native pink broom, which is endemic to the area. A 2 hectare bank of totara. Then immediately below the bank is our first section of wetland, and then a second section across the road. Again, ironically, spent a lot of time and effort previously establishing those poplars and getting them up and going, but now we've developed a wetland and poisoned them. A bit of a changing of the times. A third section of the wetland a bit further along. We do have a really productive 3 hectare paddock in between. And then a fourth section of wetlands further along again, just beyond the pine trees. So once those pines come out, the third and the fourth wetland will likely join together with another corridor of native plantings. So pretty special to take what were always reasonably handy paddocks, but they were just holding paddocks, too wet to develop into lucerne like the country around them. They're now, well, potentially one of the highlights of the property. To go from unproductive holding paddocks to a real centerpiece of the pyramid, it's pretty special.